Well, I guess we're gonna see what this oil looks like. Looks pretty good, actually. Uh-oh. I didn't see any chunks of anything coming out. No water in there. That kind of makes me think that the top end's good, because when it was running, it was blowing coolant out of the stack, through the turbo out the stack, because of those cracks in the head. Now, if there was something wrong with the rings, wouldn't you think there'd be water down in the oil pan? I didn't see, not one drop of water came out of there. And the reason it overheated, listen to me trying to justify not doing a in-frame rebuild. Anyway, the reason it overheated was the water pump was locked up solid. First off, there were no belts connected from the crank pulley to the water pump. And then I try to turn the fan blades, should spin pretty free with no belt on there. It would not budge. I mean, it was locked up so hard that I thought it was like it could have been a gear drive. I think our rings and pistons are good. I don't know, guys. I know you guys say I should do an in-frame, but man, it's a ton of work. Another test that was suggested to me, dump some spirits down in the cylinders and see if it leaks past. Let's just dump some in there. So these two right here are where the crack was on the head. I can definitely tell, like this one is getting by a little bit. I see bubbles on the edges. This one's getting by. Does that prove that they're tight, that they're bad though? I don't know. None of them ran straight through. Marion, are you getting some sun, pretty girl? You are. This head does have a provision for the decompression lever, and we don't really need it in there, but I figure might as well, we have it. So it goes through here. This is the lever portion here, and this would have a lever out to somewhere you could reach it. That was missing, but this part was still in there, and you can still kind of use this lever to activate it or deactivate it. So it slides through here, out the other end, and there's a little detent here, and in there is this like a ball and a spring. So that spring goes in there, then this goes in there. There's this cam type deal that is pinned onto here and just kind of rotates around. So let's get this in. Just to tell when we're lined up, right there. Okay, so that'll just open the intake valves when we flip that. Just crank it. Okay, that's installed, good. More parts, let's see what we got in here. Syringe. New cartridge. Let's compare it to the old one. This is our turbine side. See these fins? Most of them are bent or broken off. Versus this one here. This flange here. See how razor sharp that one is? Just from rust and whatever. And this one, that's a good, I don't know, 3/16 of an inch thick. So that's good, good. Got our new head, got our new cartridge. We're close. Okay, I've been doing some head prep, getting this ready to install. I put a plug in here, just referencing the old head. It's got one there, also one there, so I put those in. Not sure what those are for, but some sort of option that was not on my tractor. Also put a plug in this end here. This would be the back of the head. We've got our decompression lever in. Then here is where our water temp sensor thing goes. There's like a crush washer back there, so that should be sealed up. Then I've got a plug here. Not sure what that's for. If you look at that end, and then compare it to the old head. See, this head doesn't even have any of those. Well, it's got some holes here, but it doesn't have that. I don't know what would have gone there. Then on the old head, we have this shutoff valve. And currently on the new head, I've just got a plug in there. That plug on the old head runs up to like an in-cab heater. The thing about it is there's no windows in the cab. Kind of sits down at your feet. So I might put that on in the future, but for now I'm just gonna leave it off. It kind of sticks out a little bit. Should make it a little easier to get the head on, you know, without snagging on hoses or whatever. So I wanted to show you guys the pre-combustion chambers too. These were pre-installed and they're torqued to 140 to 160 foot-pounds. I did get new glow plugs, and they go down in these holes. And so the book has a specification on the go range where those glow plugs won't interfere with any wires or anything, and they all look good. They do that by using different thickness washers underneath the pre-combustion chamber. Just a little bit of difference between the washers just to get them to land in that go range. So center line, the go range I think is in this way. Also in the big hole is where the nozzle goes. You can see it's kind of splined there, and there's splines down in there. I don't know if you can see them, but they just kind of slip down in there, and then a new nut threads on there, and then your fuel line goes in. Here we have the old exhaust manifold. I took it to work and media blasted it. Problem is I didn't see it. But this has holes in it. So you can see a hole there, here, and I was thinking about trying to fix this, but it's just paper thin material there. You could probably try to weld it, but I hopped on the old eBay, and this manifold is not that expensive. So I went ahead and ordered a new exhaust manifold. So then here's the hot side, the exhaust side. I took this to work and blasted it, and it's a little rough, but I think it should work fine. It's cleaned up. All the we're down to bare metal. I blasted all the carbon deposits off, and I think it'll work fine. Here's the old nozzle, and I'm thinking this is what bent our turbine side fins. These pieces here broke off. See if you can see that. See how it's missing about 5 of these fins? Well, I went ahead and got a new one of those. When we put the turbo on, we won't break more fins and cause damage. And you saw us test this regulator. I ended up welding this bracket back on, and I got a few comments from people saying just buy a new one, don't risk it. So I took that advice and got a new regulator here. So we're ready to slap this back together as soon as. It's a pretty chilly day out here, guys, but it's time to get this head on and try to get this thing fired up. Let me show you what we've got going on so far. You hear that noise? That's a torpedo heater back there. A little bit of frost on the engine this morning. I've got the block cleaned up pretty well. Still need to wipe it down a couple more times, but all the stuff is off. And I just put the lifters in. I took those out, cleaned them up. So those are in, ready to go. Next step, man, it just keeps frosting over here. I'm gonna put the water directors in, all the holes, then put the head gasket on, then we're gonna try to set this head on here. I've got piston 1 and 6 companion cylinders at top dead center. So let's get this done. I've got the water pump reinstalled. I don't have the fan on yet, and I don't have everything plumbed up, but it's bolted on. I figured that it'd be easier to get this on before the head. Good. Easy. Up. Back up. Go. Okay, hold on a second. Aim the bar for this. Okay. Down. Okay, go up. Easy. Back out. Forward. Up. Down. Cut your wheel so you're backing up that way. Okay, back up a little bit. Down. Oh, back up a little. More. Okay, down. Down. Oh, fuck. Up. Up a little more. Okay, down. Easy. Down. Hold on. Down. Easy. Down. Hold on. Hold on. Go up a little. Down a little bit. Hold on. All right. Up. Stop. Up. Damn it. Up, 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 up. Stop. Okay, down. Drive forward. Stop. Down. Down. Down.
Holy crap!
I don't know if we fucked anything up though. Well, it's the next morning, guys. Sorry about the quality here. It's really cold out and I'm having problems with my microphone, so we're using the phone camera here. Yesterday, we got the head on. Got it torqued down. I did it in 3 stages, starting at 105, then 160, then 160 again. I got the valve set, 025 on the exhaust, 015 on the intake. Those are all good. I've turned the engine over a couple times. Make sure there was no binding or anything. Everything looks good. Right now, I'm working on putting the fan blades back on. So I got the bottom half on down there. Still need to put the top half on. Then get the belts on. Got the fan on. Got the belts on. There's the belt tensioner here. I got that tightened up. Belts should be good. Got the lower radiator hose hooked up to the water pump here. Working on the fuel system a little bit here, putting new injector nozzles in. Here's what they look like. The shiny part is new. I'm reusing this part. It's just holds it on there. And these are just finger tight. Then a nut goes on here with an O-ring, and then the fuel line connects to there, also with an O-ring. I have got the studs on for the exhaust manifold as well as the gaskets. I've got those retainers. Those hold the nozzles in. Those are torqued to 105 foot-pounds. I have the glow plugs inserted. Got the oil drained. 2 new oil filters in there, pre-filled up. I've got our new thermostat in there, new gasket. So that's our upper radiator hose. That's connected. I've got the fuel lines on. I've got a brand new exhaust manifold on. There's the other side of the fuel lines. I've got the turbo exhaust housing on. I've got the new turbo cartridge on. I've got the first part of the intake on. Well, guys, it's the next weekend. I didn't get everything done. I'm currently waiting for a new fuel line. The second one right here. The end goes into the nozzle it's cracked and I can't fix it when I turn the fuel on, it's just leaking out there. So that should be here hopefully soon. Replace that, and then we'll try to fire this thing up. Got a little bit of snow last night. Waiting to see if the mailman comes down this road with a new fuel line. Hopefully soon. I'm gonna go back in and warm up a little bit. So there's our old one. I tried to patch it right here with some weld, but like a whole section was missing right in this area. Here's our new one. This is the part that was broken, and I couldn't get it off. You can't really get it off once these ends are in without ruining it. Now I've already bled the fuel on the other lines, so I'm going to leave that side loose and turn the fuel on at the tank. Kind of let it bleed a little bit. So I got about 50 gallons of fuel, I'm estimating, in the tank. All right, let's take a quick look around at everything we've done. New fuel line there, we just put that on. New turbo cartridge. Got a new turbo elbow here. New exhaust manifold. Rebuilt the water pump. Everything's back together except for the hood. Put a new air filter in. All the hoses, all the lines are good. I've got roughly 8 gallons in the radiator. It's clear top to the full to the top. So we'll have to wait for the thermostat to open up before we can add more, but I think it'll take more. I think we're ready to give this thing a shot. We'll see what happens. I don't know. It's 11 degrees out. Just gonna take some doing to get started, I think. Crawl in here. Neutral. Neutral. I need to fix this glow plug wire. Doesn't get good contact all the time. It says 2 minutes on the plugs here. See what happens here. Full throttle. Still in neutral. Need to tighten up that fuel line now. Ooh, exciting. All right, let's try this again. Here we go. A little more glow plug. Better give her some more. All right. What do you guys think of that? There we go, boys and girls. I think that's that fuel we were spewing out. A little bit of snow melting. We'll let her run for a little bit. Smoking a little bit. Sound too bad though. Oil pressure, fuel pressure. There's our temp gauge up here. Give her a little throttle. Yeah, sounds pretty decent. What do you guys think? Awesome. Motor-wise, I think it sounds pretty good. You see, we got a little fuel leak at the sediment bowl. See if that blade raises up. So the most I've driven this is from about 50 feet over that way to where it sits now. So I don't really know what I'm doing. I've never driven a dozer until I drove this one. Now temp gauge is maybe moving a little bit. Got that. Put our clutch in. We're gonna go into first gear. Maybe. Might be frozen. Yeah, there she goes. Oh, she didn't like that. Can't steer. Well, guys, I can't get it to steer. The brakes are working. The steering clutches I don't think are grabbing. I don't know if they're frozen or what, but I don't know what the deal is. Well, I try to drive it. I've got no steering. The brakes are working, but the steering clutches are not engaging or disengaging, whatever. It steered when I first got it and drove it to where it is now, but now I've got nothing. So I think on the next video we'll look at some of the steering problems. This is a standard shift, but it still uses hydraulic oil to disengage the steering clutches, or it uses transmission oil. So this is our transmission filter there, and then somewhere under here is the transmission pump. There's also the magnetic screen somewhere under the floorboards, and then I'm gonna have to read. I don't know exactly what we need to do, but for sure drain the transmission fluid, put a new filter in, put new fluid in. If we have to get into the steering clutches, maybe they're stuck, I don't know. It's gonna be a lot of work. Basically, probably, I think we're gonna have to take the cab off, fuel tank off, and the steering clutches are up in there somewhere. Could have a lot of work ahead of us, or maybe we'll get lucky and just a fresh fluid change will help. The current oil looks like it's mud, basically. Not mud, it's rust mud colored. It is kind of liquid still, so who knows. It did steer when I first got it, so gives me a little bit of hope. So yeah, this video took a while to get out, just waiting for parts and all that. And I know I didn't get as much on film as I wanted to. It was just extremely cold. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys, and I hope I catch you on the next one.